What's up, family? It's your girl, Melissa D. It is another wonderful Saturday afternoon. I am excited, blessed, favored. Y'all, I've had a phenomenal week of full activation, and I am so elated to be here with my new featured guest this week. This week's theme, if you've been following and you're a friend of the show, we're talking about activating education with the lovely Ebony Pano. Good afternoon, Ebony.
Good afternoon, Melissa.
You are so lovely and just melanin popping, honey. We are just brown girl magic in the studio this morning. I love every bit of it. It is, if you follow the show, I've just been so fortunate to have some amazing connections with people around the world that typically happen from social media. But then once we start digging and talking, we have like 1 or 2 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a shared community of friends and supporters.
We do.
So it's a pleasure to meet you, to have you.
Thank you. I
Welcome.
appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say that I'm so thankful for the work that you do, Melissa.
Oh, wow,
Your
thank
heart
you.
is huge, and it really speaks volumes when you have somebody that will support you before you even support them.
Wow.
So, giving without the expectation of receiving. So
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you. You are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful and awesome.
Thank you. That blesses me because I'm really I'm having fun.
Yes,
like I
so.
am literally having the time of my life, and the byproduct of that is giving and serving and loving. And I'll never be empty, and I'll never be broken, or never be broke out of that. I'm fully wealthy in my spirit, so I thank you for that. So y'all, I have to tell you about this amazing woman, an educator, a counselor, an author, an entrepreneur. I know, right? I've had a string of Cali girls on here. Last week I had my girl Erica Diaz. Shout out to Erica.
Cali,
I mean, y'all West Coast representing, right? So she is a native of San Diego, California, and came here to Georgia to pursue her degree at Clark Atlanta University. I've had a lot of CAU alumni
Clark
here
Atlanta
too. Y'all need like
represent,
a network, an activation hour network.
Yes, Education Activation Hour CAU network.
Right? Oh, we really
coming.
could. It's coming, y'all. I think she just spoke it into it. She activated my network.
I did.
She is an educational professional. So many awesome personal endeavors since she set out on her career in education in 2003. She is a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Also a member of the American School Counselors Association, the Georgia School Counselors Association, and founder of Succeed with Drive, DRIVE. You need to drive on in, and we're going to tell you more about what that means. It's an acronym for something very powerful. She is a college and career readiness counselor, and she has a program. So there was this very strategic reason why I chose this topic at the time I chose it. We're kind of in the throes of summer vacation. And for those, we, through my nonprofit Righting Our Wrongs, or through many other organizations I work with, it's like a lot of times organizations take the summer off because the schools are out. But it's like, wait a minute, this is like prime time for planning. The summer really is prime time for planning. And so I just wanted to kind of like shake you a little bit. If you have a student in your household or in your family or in your mentorship network that you need to kind of shake them a little bit and be like, hey, man, we need to get this planning thing going. And, I mean, because school starts, like, around the corner. You really should have been kind of, like, planning this far ahead. But I wanted to really give you some strategic information. I want to activate education for you so that there's a plan in place. And so if you're a friend of the show and you've been, connected, you know what the activation hour is. It's going from your old to your new, and that activation hour is that in-between place of planning, of strategizing, and getting in position. And so now this is kind of an ode to our rising, seniors, those getting ready for college, and for the parents. This is your activation hour. You are literally starting a new season of education and excellence in your life, and I brought my girl Ebony here to help you do just that. So welcome again, Ebony. It's so great to have you. So, all right, you know what the activation hour is, and I always lead the show, and I have to ask my guests this question. What is your own personal activation hour? That moment when you are planning your move, from California to Georgia.
Right,
And you've
right.
probably had multiple. People think of activation
Right.
hours like one event. No,
Right.
it's an occurrence of events in your life. It's a series of season changes in your life. So what was that for you as it pertains to education?
And I'm so glad you said that, because there are a series of activation hours, because especially when we think that we know what our goals and plans are, and then, the joke is, and God laughs at those plans.
Oh,
He's
man,
like,
he has a good sense of humor.
He's like, oh, that's what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think I've had about at least two
Okay.
real activating aha moments. And the first one was actually not the best situation. I was actually in my third year of college, undergrad, all set up, ready to get my degree in education and marketing, and go right into the advertising field. So
That's funny.
Yeah. So I got to New York with my smile and my lovey-dovey personality and warmth, and basically got ran over. So people, were more cutthroat in the business arena, and that just wasn't my spirit. That wasn't who I am. So who I was at the time. So actually got an internship and a job opportunity at a local high school, being a college advisor aide.
Okay.
And so there I was, junior year in college, finally finding out this is what my niche was, and what I was most excited about and what I was most passionate about was really helping kids elevate themselves and get them to the next level.
Okay.
So then junior year, I'm like, well, oh my gosh, now I didn't major in the right thing, and what am I going to do? And I've always wanted to come to Atlanta. I've always wanted to be right in the middle of where I saw the greatest need was. And so I felt always, even ninth and 10th grade, I always thought something in the back of my mind about Atlanta, Georgia. I need to get to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know why or what. And then
it's a mecca. It is a place of creativity, growth, innovation. So you arrived in Atlanta when?
Arrived in Atlanta in 2003 after that first activation moment. Then the journey of working in different types of schools, weaving in and out, and being blessed and fortunate enough to have different positive change happen in my life. So the first time was Creekside. This is my second activation hour. So Creekside High School was, I was young. I was really impressionable to the youth. They looked at me as, big sis, Auntie Jenkins at the time. I made a name.
Kind of like the young educators, you're not really Miss So-and-so. You more like my homegirl because you look like me.
Exactly. So, that level of, comfort and just that you just can't really get any other place. So Creekside was the starting point, and I had a great time, loved those kids, then moved to Riverwood High School in Central Fulton County, North Springs area. So different population of kids, different need is still there, but it just looks different. And then all the way up to Chattahoochee High School in Johns Creek, which is another, again, a separate population.
So you worked
kids.
in various different demographics. So I want to kind of set the picture of what that looks like, because we have viewers from all over that aren't here locally in Atlanta.
Right.
So essentially, you talk about that demographic change. And how that impacts your view of education. I want to touch on that a little bit.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
That's why I really feel it's important. I would love, this is funny, it's not going to happen, but I would love for educators in North Fulton County to exchange places with the educators in South Fulton County. I think that would be such a
kind of like a teacher swap or educator, like a school swap.
Educator swap. I love it. And I think that needs to be implemented so that we understand and can relate to multiple types of students and be a stronger impact in their lives. Because, what I know from working up north in North Fulton County, I was on fire and ready to bring it right back to the kids in South Fulton County. So second aha moment or activation hour was when I had the opportunity to work at McLaren High School, which still my baby. Love those kids. Love those kids to the point where I still communicate with those kids.
That's awesome.
And I can't, get rid of them if I tried. They just, love them and love them right back. They love me and love them right back. So second aha activation hour moment was working with those students and realizing that I have more control over doing the things that I really want to do than I think. So we get so comfortable in our day-to-day routine and our 9-to-5s that we just kind of become blind to what we were moved here to begin with, or what God put on our hearts from the beginning. So that was when I decided to leave McLaren and go back to Riverwood for different reasons. It was strategic. I cried like a baby. I'm not gonna lie. As strong as we want to be, I cried like a baby because I realized, wow, God had to take me from one place to the next just so I would understand how important it is to focus on my passion and my purpose and what I was really led to come to Atlanta to do. I had a reality check. So then I realized, okay, God, I got you. Let me get back on track. Let me not get too comfortable with what I'm doing at McLaren or being a shining example of, what a counselor does with the kids and how we can really, impact the students. It was like, no, I don't want you to be comfortable. I want you to make moves. I want you to take action. So that was the second.
Ebony don't know that she preaching to me right now, y'all. For real. Let me tell you why. There's layers upon layers of wisdom in what you just said. And I want to draw some parallels out of her. She dropped so much. I have to bring out like these points. So if you're taking notes or tweeting or posting, I'm about to give you some comments to drop on social media right now. One of them being, I'm noticing a trend with all of my guests. The trend is that God moved you from one place of comfort to a place of being uncomfortable. And that is literally what Activation Hour is all about. You're going from something old, comfortable, settled, cozy, I don't want to leave this nest, to something new, scary, uncomfortable. It shook your, your normal, if you will. That has been the norm. So I want y'all to catch this. You can't have an activation hour and still be comfortable.
Right.
All right.
Love it.
Awesome. The other thing is you see a need in one area. So it's almost like, which again has happened pretty much with every guest I've talked to or any friend of the show that I interview, where there are resources. So this new place you're worried about, like, am I prepared for it? I don't know what's over there. You have everything you need in one place to carry you over in another.
Right.
And see, people tend to think contrary. I'm not qualified. I don't know if I'm belong in that school. I don't know if that's my side of town, or I haven't really taught that demographic or this area or this subject or whatever. But you strategically have been put in schools and in situations. You were getting pieces of everything you needed to be in the new place.
I love it. Yes.
So that literally, and I love when I ask this question, because I'm like, I've heard this before.
Yes.
I've heard this before.
Yep.
It's a theme, and I think that's on purpose. That's awesome. Yep. So keeping in with those activation hours, all of it from 2003 to now led you to Succeed with Drive.
Yes.
So I know the birth of, right? Doesn't it feel, when you have a thing like that, doesn't it feel like your baby, like for real?
It is,
when did you start Succeed with Drive?
Oh, goodness. It's so embarrassing.
No, it's not. You got to tell it, because I tell people all the time, I didn't really set out to have a radio show, with the embarrassing part was that I almost didn't do this.
Right. Well,
so I don't care, girl. Let them have it.
If you were to check my GoDaddy.com and when this website was created and so when I actually started doing more with it, you'd be like, really? So it took you this long?
That's okay.
So it's funny. I was listening to a speaker earlier quote Martin Luther King. He said, if you can't fly, go ahead and run. If you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, make moves.
Woo!
And so,
y'all, wait. Say it again for me.
Right? Okay. So
wait, say it again. No, you got to say it again.
It's so important. So if you find yourself and I'm going to now, paraphrase a little bit.
Okay.
If you find yourself and you can't fly, at least run.
Yes.
If you can't run, okay, walk.
Yeah.
But if you can't walk, go ahead and crawl. But by all means, just make a move. Yes, just move.
Just move.
And so, yes, I'm working a 9-to-5 job, and my coworkers and my colleagues, we all have our own world, our own life. Life happens, and a lot of things going on. We're all juggling different things, but people are like, well, golly, you're motivating me to do something. Just, and I have a huge goal in mind. But the God that I serve and who has been faithful from the very beginning is like, okay, well, don't worry about your fears or your limits or what you think is too big. Just do it. And so for me, when I do speaking engagements, when I do work with kids outside of my job, when I write a book, when I get the opportunity to speak at conferences, there may be small things and little things, but it's what I can do right now.
Absolutely.
And you just don't know. You don't want to block blessings. And actually just stepping foot into doing what I want to do, activating my Succeed with Drive and different things that I want to do. It has opened up doors to meeting people like you and other, mentors and people that are positive and doing like-minded things. And it puts put you in position. So even though you may not think you're ready to do things, just move, just do it, just start doing things.
And the rest just kind of comes.
It does.
It flows, as long as you're not standing still.
As long as you're not standing still.
So tell the people, what is Succeed with Drive?
So Succeed with Drive was birthed. Okay, first of all, Drive stands for determination, relentlessness, innovation, vision, and excellence.
Love it.
So, so again, funny enough, because God will do things, back in the day that you didn't even know was going to come into fruition. So I did actually write a program called Driven in undergrad.
Wow.
It was a project, right? So Driven was the foundation of the idea that Succeed with Drive was created under. So Drive, those qualities that I just mentioned, and when thinking about, what do students need really to be successful in life? What are the main qualities that I feel if they just had those qualities, a lot of barriers would be removed, or they would start making moves to move forward to accomplish their goals. And again, as a school counselor, I focus on the emotional needs, the academic, and the
social emotional learning.
Yes.
Okay.
So all three elements are included with Succeed with Drive.
Okay.
So it encompasses working with students one-on-one, individually, small groups. I also do workshops. So workshops based on, I have a college boot camp that I do.
I'm intrigued. I feel like I need a college boot camp.
Yes.
But okay, who is the college boot camp for? Who is Succeed with Drive for? Who's your audience?
It's funny you say that, because the audience typically starts with high school students, and it can be 9 through 12, but I don't cut my students off. So if I feel like there's still more work to be done when it comes to, okay, Ms. Payne, I've done a year in undergrad, I'm kind of confused, I'm lost, I need you to help guide me, I need another reassessment.
Wow. So you guide them even as they're in the throes of their college years, when they get that freshman year. Like, oh Lord, what did I just get into? I don't know my major. This is scary. You still got them.
Exactly. Guide them. At least sometimes students just don't know where to find that answer or that resource. So it's not necessarily why I have to meet with them face-to-face, one-on-one, but just planting seeds, just kind of guiding them. It can be an email, a text message. I'm still reachable, because the bottom line is, students, when it comes to their success, just having one consistent person in their life that will be there, that's important.
Consistent. You hit something big. Kids, people, period. We're so as we get older as adults, we kind of expect that people will be in and out. We want them to be loyal, but we kind of expect it because life has taught us that. But at that age, for youth, middle school, high school age, they thrive on consistency. That's why mentorship is so critical, not just popping up here and there, but literally building a relationship. Exactly. That's critical.
Yep.
I want to dig into that, but first I think you have someone that wants to ask you a few questions. Courtney, do we have a caller on the line? Looks like we have a caller from San Diego, your hometown. Yes. All right. Caller, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Activation Hour. How are you?
I am doing great, and my name is June Jenkins, and I am Ebony's mom, calling
Mom.
from Brooklyn.
I love it.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah. And you got your grandma here as well. We're in here eating breakfast.
Love it. Hi,
Say
Grandma.
hi, Grandma. Say hi. Hi to everybody. Say hi, Jeffrey. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Grandma.
Jeffrey said hi, too.
Wow, family. Hey, thank y'all so much for supporting Ebony and supporting the show. Hey, Mom, can I ask you a question, since I have you on the line all the way from California?
Right ahead.
Hey, I want to ask you a question, family. So how did you help Ebony growing up? Like, how did you activate education as a parent? How did you ensure she had what she needed in education?
Well, you sure do know how to ask a lot of questions.
I do. I can't help it, Mama.
She's the activation queen.
Yeah.
You want the short version or you want the long version?
Give me the short version, Mom.
I had her in so many doggone activities that she didn't have time to look up to get into any trouble.
Right.
Okay. So as a parent,
had her.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You said you had her in all sorts of activities, right?
Yes. Okay. From public school, from nurse. That girl, she's been going to school since nursery school. So she's been going to school since she was 4 years old.
Wow.
And and she did wonders. I mean, she actually was an ASB. I don't even know if you're familiar with ASB, Associate Student Bodies.
Oh wow!
And junior high school and everything, and she was the president.
Awesome.
Ebony, I'm going way back.
I know, Mom. You remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm going way, way back.
Well,
and
I
never
needed you to
get
do
that.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
like, you know, I wanted parents to hear, they see Ebony and the success that she's had, but it's because of the foundation. And so I want people to
Absolutely.
understand activating education means that starts really young. Like you said, it started when she was a toddler, and there were things you instilled in her.
Absolutely.
So just thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for what you've
Yeah.
done for her.
Well, you
'cause
know,
now-
I'd like to share one more thing
Please.
with you.
Yeah, go
Because
ahead.
when she was in my stomach and I was rubbing her, and I told her, college, you will be going to college.
Oh, wow.
And when she was in kindergarten, she told the kids that she was going to college. She didn't know why, but she was going to college.
Wow. Wow. No, you said something so powerful. You were sowing seeds into your child, even in your belly. And she was like,
turn that down. She's on the air. I'm sorry. What did you say?
it's just powerful. That is a powerful message, I think, for people to understand that it's never too young to sow seeds into your child. That's powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank
Absolutely.
you so much for calling in. Continue to tune in, and thank you for loving on her
Well,
because
hey,
we love her.
thank you so much for interviewing her. And I'm going to tell you that I am very proud of this girl
Thank you.
because she is making it happen.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah, pray every night. Go ahead. You show.
All right. So that's so awesome.
Yes.
That just like melts my heart.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for moms and
Yes,
grandmas. Like my
yes.
grandma's my best friend.
Yes.
And I just see the way you lit up.
Yeah.
And Mama's dropping
Right.
knowledge. She said when she was in my belly,
Yeah. Exactly.
I spoke to her. I said, "You're going to college.
Yep.
You're going to college."
Mhm.
So that's
love it.
man,
She was
that
changing mindsets even in the belly.
in the
you
belly.
know.
So it's never too young for parents that, you know, you think, well, my child's too young for this, for that. No,
Exactly.
no way, no way. I almost feel like a succeed with Drive Force. We're gonna be doing affirmations
We
for
might have
mommies.
to. Yes.
I
And,
don't know.
No, parents, they do need that support as well. They need
Yeah.
to know, what works, what doesn't work, and so yeah, I agree with that.
It's funny you say that. I'm gonna kind of move ahead then, because since we're on parents and there are so many parents who maybe generationally haven't had the successful level of education that they of course want for
Right.
their child, for their seed, for generations.
Right.
So with what you do in Succeed with Drive and the resources you offer, what's the advice you would give to parents to activate education?
So I do work with parents also, because obviously they're instrumental. You know what I'm doing with the student, the parent needs to be there right along the side. They don't need to be, outside of the loop. So I keep them in the loop. They do come to me with questions and want that support. So for parents, my biggest takeaway is that just to be there. Consistency, again, I'll go back to that, because just even if they haven't walked the walk that the child is trying to attain, they're trying to go to college, but they may not have a college degree.
Okay.
They may not even have graduated from high school. Just being there and being supportive and finding a way. So parents may not know the first thing about filling out a financial aid application.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, I have parents that I work with all the time where they come with their child. They may not know what all is needed or what's all it entails, but just being available, showing up to the party, showing up to that experience or that task, that speaks volumes to the student.
It does, yeah.
And they need that type of support. So just being there, it's never a bad time to ask your child, hey, what'd you do in school today? What did you learn today? My mom asked me that all the time, and it would be the most at that age. Of course, it can be a little annoying and a little troublesome to a student. You're like, okay, mom, I'm fine, it's okay.
Yeah.
But just knowing that she's involved and interested and invested in my experience experience as a student, it was important to me. So
Absolutely.
just that support, being there and talking to communicating with your
Yeah.
child.
I think that's important for parents to know, because so often you're like, am I doing enough?
Right.
Am I present enough? Especially if you're a single parent or a career parent and you're like torn. Am I present? But really, that's all it takes.
Right,
Even if you
that's
don't
all.
understand the process,
Exactly.
just be there.
Just being there.
Just be there. Because so many kids wish they had. I mentor kids that they just want somebody to hold their hand through
Right.
the process.
They do. So just providing resources.
Mm-hmm.
Parents will, if they don't know, if they do know, rather, you do tell them about this parent night or tell them about an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised about the level of involvement and show up that they will. You just have to they don't know, they can't be involved. So
Yeah.
you just giving them the information that they need for parent nights or what have you. Just don't second guess the parents. They want to
Yeah.
be there, and give them an opportunity.
I like
think.
that you said that, because I was at a summit recently and there was a talk on racial education, kind of falling under social emotional learning of racial identity for kids. And many of it was a lot of educators in the room, and they were just saying it's hard enough to get parents to show up for parent teacher night or for a conference or to talk about the kids' grades, but to even add that extra component, it's like I can't even get them to do the basics. But I just want to shine light on there are parents who do show up.
Yes.
And I'm not, when I use the word parent loosely, because oftentimes parent means community. Like, parent for me was, I had mama, grandmama, and great grandmama. Like they didn't know which one of my relatives was liable to come over to that school.
Exactly. Uncle,
but I was
auntie,
grateful in
right.
that. But for some, mama and daddy may not be there, so it might be uncle, auntie, or somebody else coming to the school. But whoever that person is, I just want to shine a light on and congratulate those who do show up.
Right.
I think there's a misconception sometimes that people don't show up in our community.
Right.
That they're not there for our kids.
Right.
Shout out to those who show up.
Exactly. Show up. And then for educators, the takeaway would be, again, if you work in a different setting or you're not used to working with a different population of students, it's understanding that group and how to most effectively communicate with them, because it doesn't look the same everywhere you are.
It does not.
So, sometimes you may have to pick up the phone, even though you'd rather send an email, because, grandmother doesn't have a computer at home or internet at home. So he or she, the grandparents, or whoever the support system is, they may be easily accessible in a different way that may not always look like the way that you're
That's important
used
to know.
communicating with. Yeah,
You're right. You're right. So you adjust to meet the need of the people you serve,
Absolutely.
whatever the demographic may be. That's an
Exactly.
excellent point.
You got to.
Yep. So I want to ask one more question before we get into the break, and then I want to transition and talk about your book after the break. So, Succeed with Drive. You gave us the acronym for what it means. What year did you start Succeed with Drive?
Oh,
officially.
right. Okay. Officially, Succeed with Drive took off, I would say, with actually taking action and doing and booking engagements 2016.
Okay. So a full year.
Full year.
And so in that time frame, what for you were like just those memorable moments when you're like, oh my gosh, this is really, when you knew it was something, when you knew it was a movement, when you knew it was something big? What was that moment for you?
Okay. Honestly, because I've always just been the type of person to just see a need and then just try to execute the goal, the task at hand. So Succeed with Drive, it started, even though it started full swing last year with meeting with students over the summertime and, meeting them at Starbucks to help them fill out their financial aid applications and physically taking them to the college campus to complete college entrance exams and the application on campus. That started last year, but really thinking, wow, this is something that I'm going to take to a different level. And I will make that commitment regardless of any inhibitions that I may have. I'm going to go ahead and move full swing ahead. I would say that was really when I met a colleague of mine, and I will shout him out. I have to.
Okay.
His name's Patrick Phillips.
Shout out, Patrick.
And the reason I say that is sometimes just meeting that right person that's already doing, been doing.
He's
the
dynamic.
Things.
The change agent.
The
Shout out,
change
Patrick. He's
agent.
speaking at a conference today.
Yes, yes. And not to say that I'm trying to ride anybody's coattail or just trying to, be
about
like
support.
It's just,
you had the right support system
yes.
network.
So the fact that he, came to me and said, well, okay, where's your book? You're trying to do all these different things and you've been in education. So sometimes it takes that person that's going to challenge you and push you a little bit to do a little bit more. So you look at people like Patrick. Also, I want to shout out Dr. Woodley, who was at McLaren. Also want to shout out Dr. Marquita Blades, just different people that I know that are, regardless of all the excuses and all the reasons why you can't do something or shouldn't, or it's not the right time, or I'm too tired, or I don't feel good, whatever your excuses are, just doing it. So just seeing people in my age group that are already making moves and doing things, regardless of their 9-to-5s or their physical health or whatever it may be, still making moves and doing it. So I said, well, what's my excuse? What am I, I'm tired, I'm busy, and so I ask people like you, Melissa, too, who can do all these things. I'm like, where do you find the time? And there's nothing, there's no answer. There's no, I'm like, can you just tell me? And nobody knows the answer.
That's
you just
crazy
do it. You just do. You just do.
Yeah.
And so that was my this year. Okay, let me finish the book, which I did. Because
show them the book.
I had to do. This is me just doing, regardless of what.
Tell them the title of your book.
Book is called Not Your Average Educator Resource Book.
All right.
So basically, it's a resource book for program planning and support. So instead of when we get as educators, when the school year begins, it's like a roller coaster ride. You just get on and you just can't wait to get off the ride. You're dizzy.
I hear teachers say it's like, oh Lord, get me off the ride. Is it summer break yet?
Yes. When is it time?
So how do you deal with that burnout? Yeah. So the book helps.
The book will help with. I'm a firm believer in not having to reinvent the wheel. So if something is already out there that works and that has worked for other people, yes, take it and make it your own. Gladly take the ideas and strategies and tips that are inside the book and tweak it to meet your own students' needs. So this is a way that not just teachers, if you are a teacher that's a lead teacher or that runs an advisement program, or an instructional coach, a graduation coach, outside of teaching, if you are a social worker, if you are a school counselor, obviously, primarily school counselors, we do a lot of these programs, but any type of support staff member in the school can benefit from the book. The book it's academic planning, so in the beginning, there's 3 different phases. So the first phase is academic planning, and it is the academic planning that you see inside will, for the most part, it'll meet the Georgia standards.
Okay. So academic planning, like building a curriculum for whatever your program or idea may be.
Exactly.
So let me touch on that, and I'm gonna quickly break. What stuck out to me, for many of you who are friends of the show, or you just follow my life, or whatever, I share all kinds of stuff on social media, but even for me, I'm not an educator, but I'm a youth advocate, and I work with youth through Righting Our Wrongs, my nonprofit. And I was like, and that's really the phase we're in. Like, we have our core programs, but the need has been, and the demand has been expanded where we have to do a full curriculum. I'm like, I'm not an educator.
Right.
Where do I start? And then when I was introduced to your work, I said, oh, thank you. Yes. The book. And so then she brought a book to the studio. So thank you so much. And my program chair thanks you too.
You're welcome.
So we're going to come back. We're going to take a really quick break. And I want to dig into the book, how we can give you, all who are educators, influencers, youth advocates, the tools you need to activate education. So guys, thank you for tuning in for the first half. Just want to drop a few announcements here. We are still actively looking for interns here on 108 Praise Radio. Come join the family, get the experience with us in media communications. It's truly a great place where you can learn and grow. Just shoot us an email to 108praiseradio@gmail.com, and we will make sure to get you connected to your internship opportunity. Also want to announce, special announcement. So if you're a friend of the show, me, Melissa D, the activation specialist, I have launched my first live webinar series, and it is free today only. If you are listening to the show, go to melissadwhite.info. You can register today for free. And I actually threw the topic out there on social media, and you guys chose the topic. We will be talking about activating purpose, going from your idea to your execution. And Ebony has touched on just that. How do I just kind of stop playing around with the excuses and really know what I need to do? So we're going to have a strategy session. It's all free for you, my viewers, here on 108 Praise Radio. So we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to the Activation Hour with me, your girl, Melissa D, on 108 Praise Radio, where we're always voicing the gospel. We'll be right back. family. You are now tuned in to the Activation Hour with me, your activation specialist, Melissa D, joined with the awesome, lovely, talented Evan. No, thank you again so much for being here. You have truly you've activated us in education today. And so I want to dig a little bit deeper. If you're just tuning in, the first half we shared her business, Succeed with Drive. Shout them out with your shirt. Yes, Succeed with Drive. Love it. And the book. Yep, Not Your Average Educator Resource Book. Yes. And so Ebony and I connected on social media just, with a mutual connection and passion for youth advocacy, for education. And I wanted to, as we are really at the end of summer, I can't even say the middle anymore. I know, right? Like as you, they already got back to school stuff. It was like 4th of July stuff was out, back to school stuff was in the store. Exactly. And so it's that time, family. It's that time to get our kids ready for their next level. It's time to activate them and get them prepared. And so I want to dig and talk about that, some of the challenges we face in education and how Ebony has just so eloquently and creatively come up with resources to help overcome educational barriers. And so one of those being the dropout rate. Yes. In schools. Yes. And so when I was researching more about your work and what you do, that is one of your areas of expertise. And so how is it, what does that mean to be a dropout retention specialist? What does that entail? What does that mean?
Okay, well, to be transparent with you.
Yeah. Okay. There's no other way. We're on the activation hour. You got to be honest.
So, okay, and because I love my kids so much, if you're in education, you are a dropout prevention specialist. You don't need a piece of paper. You don't need to walk across any stages. Guess what? You have already, if you signed your contract to be in any form an educator.
She calling y'all out, educators. Yes. That sounds like a charge to me.
Yeah, it's honest.
It is.
Yeah, because when you think about dropout prevention, of course, I get emails on LinkedIn primarily, and people want to know, what does that mean? And of course, I boast and brag about my time at Frank McLaren High School, Success Academy, and Dr. Woodley and our team, and how we, blood, sweat, and tears, ended up creating this dropout prevention project, which we submitted to the National Dropout Prevention Network. Wow. And we were accepted into it, and we received our award at their national conference.
Congratulations.
And it
That's
was
huge.
Just, yeah, it is huge. Because that team at McLaren is like no other in terms of the work that we do with our kids and the tracking and the hands-on approach and the love and the passion. So, not one person shines over the next at McLaren, because the need and the passion and the love there is just like no other. So, but in my heart of hearts, and thinking deeper on, the title, National Dropout Prevention, or just Dropout Prevention, when you think about that title alone, I charge every educator with that title. Wow. If you are in a classroom, if you're in the front,
your duty.
It is your job.
This child finishes.
Yes. That's what you signed up for. So you didn't sign up to receive a paycheck. You have somebody's life in your hands, and you don't know whether it's a smile, whether it's assistance with their college application, whether it's getting them into the right class, whether it's teaching them math, whatever it is. From the front desk to the janitor, you are the dropout prevention specialist, and it's your job and duty to take ownership over that role.
Honestly, I want to take that a step further. We're boots on the ground out there with the kids, you in your capacity as a counselor, educator, and really just from a volunteer advocacy standpoint. But I want to take that further and challenge communities to be dropout prevention specialists. Like when you see kids I wonder if I leave my house in the middle of the day and I see a kid wandering around.
Exactly.
I really do stop and have a conversation with them because there's a high school across the street from me. Like, hey man, it's 12 o'clock. Wait, and I see you with a backpack on, and we're in an age where it's like, well, I'm not really gonna say nothing to him. I don't know him like that. That's not my kid, or don't and parents that say don't talk to my kid or whatever. When the reality is, that's your child, but it's our community.
Exactly. Yep.
And so, being invested in the schools, whether I'm a parent or not, that school is in my neighborhood. What are you doing?
Right. I agree. And you just don't know by you not saying something or taking responsibility over somebody you may not know. Who knows what you might be preventing in the future?
You're
so
right.
that person, if you, by you not saying something, you could have, contributed to that student's, lack of attending school, dropping out eventually, or making the wrong decision. So it's our job. I don't care what the role
it's funny
is.
you said it earlier, even just about showing up and being present. Like, obviously, that child, it's like someone had to notice that this child was
Right.
missing.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
who's going to be responsible enough to say, wait, you weren't in class today, and not only were you not here, where were you? I'm going to find you, whether it's
Right.
an educator or a parent or whoever. And so I'm taking
Yes.
Ebony's charge to our educators a step
Yeah.
further, and I'm going to make it a charge for the community. Like, we're all
Yeah.
dropout prevention specialists.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. So what are the tools that you provide then with Succeed and Drive and with your book to help reduce dropout rates in
Okay.
school and to see completion?
Okay. Well, a couple of things. So on a larger scale with the book, I do have a peer mentoring program that I outline in it
Okay.
with strategies and tips, and again, resources, again, not reinventing the wheel. It's all there, ready to be implemented. But I'm a full believer, and we spoke about mentoring earlier, but the impact that mentoring can have on students. And a lot of mentoring is most effective when it's peer-to-peer, when it's an older peer, a senior, for the most part, senior in high school, mentoring a younger student, whether it be
That's
middle
awesome.
school, elementary, or even high school. So
Yeah.
I've had again, God will move you in ways that you don't even know why until until you write a book about
That's
it.
so true. That's so true.
I've been doing the peer mentoring program. I started at Creekside with the peer mentoring program. I assisted with one at Riverwood the first time around when I came to Riverwood. And then Chattahoochee, they had one already in place. So just seeing the example of how they do the program there. And then coming back to McLaren, I had the opportunity to work with some wonderful students as peer mentors and actually led that program. So, again, just seeing how it works and how impactful it can be to students and peer-to-peer. So the things that we think as educators, we have a vision and mission statement for our school, and then we have a county vision and mission statement. We have graduation rates. We have all these different numbers and goals.
Yeah.
But why should we in our day-to-day tasks only be the resources and tools that we use in terms of our knowledge? Why can't we use our students as well? Students can be the greatest weapon in terms of helping you achieve your goals.
Who better than your
Who
peer
better than
to
your peers?
relate to you and help
Exactly.
empower you and
Exactly.
educate you?
Exactly. So you
Okay.
funnel all the academic, the strategies, the lessons, the study habits, time management, whatever topic that you really think is important or prevalent to them at that time, even social media etiquette. You funnel all that information through your kids to help other kids.
Absolutely.
And they don't have to be the leaders in the building. You want to look at all types of students to be mentors or leaders. It's not always the one that's all shiny and sparkly in the building, the top athlete or the 4.0 GPA. It can be the student that just won't be quiet in class, that just wants to have attention, and he needs
They need a structured
needs
task
structure,
around
right.
their talent. Like, you notice,
Exactly.
obviously this child has a gift of gab. Let me give them
Absolutely.
something to talk
Yes.
about. Let me
Absolutely.
activate them in a
Use their
place.
powers for good.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't know you're you're the puppet master just helping them.
But that's true. That's what it's about, though. It's
And
like,
they-
wait, and they'll tend to say, well, they're bad. They're just, they're
Yes.
just not channeling their energy in the
Exactly.
right avenue.
Absolutely.
And we can't, let's be careful about the labels we put on our kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that same talkative child, that quote unquote bad child,
Yep.
just hasn't found a way to express themselves
Exactly,
in the right
exactly.
avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a part of activating education too.
Activate him.
Yep. Absolutely. So, in your resource book, tell people how they can get a copy of
Okay.
it.
Yes.
And then do you have a community surrounding your book? Like, you have a website, Facebook group, any of that?
Yeah. So, preferably, and you get that beautiful package that Melissa
I know.
has.
It is. Look, I was trying to do a live and show y'all the packaging.
Right.
So it's my apologies if you were on my Facebook Live and got kicked off. I had to hurry up and come back on the air here. Right. But y'all know I'm a marketer,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
yes.
help build brands into packaging is everything.
Everything.
I felt so special. I came in and she's like, I gave her, here I am bringing her a gift because I
Right.
give a special gift to each one of my guests. And she's like, well, I have a gift for you. And
Yes.
I mean, a card, this
Yes.
lovely card. You
Yes.
get this nice little postcard. It's gorgeous marketing,
Thank
very well
you,
put
thank
together.
you.
And it just
Thank you,
shows
thank
the level
you.
of passion and professionalism for what you
Yes.
do. So this book
Yes.
will be well used.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's
Thank you
my
for that.
3 years in college, a minor in marketing.
Right,
That's what
you
that
put
did.
it to use. New
That's what
York
that
was
did.
not in vain.
Yes, they did. Yes, it wasn't. But yeah, definitely. Okay, so the resource book, you can purchase your copy and get the lovely packaging on my website at www.succeedwithdrive.com. So that's the first way, and it's PayPal, and you get the lovely packaging and thank you card. And then it's also on Amazon. So if you're like me and have a Prime membership and just want to go ahead and get that book faster.
It was Prime Day this week.
Yes. So you can definitely add that to your shopping cart on Amazon. And then obviously in person, if you have me for professional development or conference sessions, I'll have them with me as well. So there's multiple ways. And then Facebook, I do have a Facebook page, Succeed with Drive. And then also you can follow me, Ebony Deanna Payno on Facebook. So
phenomenal. So I want you to connect with Ebony's community. Stay connected. Get the book. Use these tools. Parents, you can get a copy of this and you can start working on some things to prepare your student now before we get into the junior, senior year. We're approaching, a new school year. Let's get them ready. And so real quick, I want to shout out our new feature artist of the week, Teresa Michelle. We're going to debut your single today. And so before we take a break, guys, I want to make sure we keep you activated. If you go to my website now, melissadwhite.info, you'll see Ebony's full profile and bio to learn more about the phenomenal work she's doing in education, as well as a link to purchase her book will be on my website for the remainder of this month. I'm also doing a free webinar on activating your purpose. So Ebony saw a purpose in education. I saw a purpose here in media. And so we want to help you get in alignment with your purpose from ideas to execution. It's free today only. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to cut to listen to some wonderful music, to praise God, to voice the gospel here on 108 Praise Radio, where we're always voicing the gospel. We'll be right back.
The world has been waiting, and on July 7th, the wait will be over. Gospel and inspirational singer Teresa Michelle releases her hit single, My Testimony. Featured and written by Kitty London. Produced by Henry Fuse. Directed by Ron Minter. Remember, without a test, there will be no testimony. The world has been waiting, and on July 7th, the wait will be over.
Hey, family, you have now reached our final point in the activation hour. Say, I know it always goes by so fast. We say this every time, but again, thank you guys for tuning in to hear about activating education. We want to make sure that we are staying plugged in to what's going to not only empower and activate you, but also this generation. So, Ebony Payno, thank you for everything you've given us today, for the tools and resources to activate education. Don't forget to check out our website, succeedwithdrive.com. Check out our book, hold the book so they can see it. Yes. The book will be there. The link will be on my website, melissadwhite.info as well. So do you have an upcoming event real quick that they can connect to anytime coming up soon?
Well, just connect with me on social media, because that's where I actually post a lot of things about what's coming up. I do want to have my next educator networking event. So for people that are in education and just have like-minded ideas, you don't have to be, like I said before, you don't have to be doing anything, just moving a little bit, and your move could just be to come to the networking event. So.
I love it. I love it. Well, get connected with Ebony and her community of educators, whether you're a parent, a youth advocate, or just someone that wants to see this generation survive, thrive, win, and be educated. So my final thought today, activate education, because planting that seed, it's never too early and never too young to plant a seed of growth and generational prosperity. And it really starts with the mind. The biggest wealth you can ever have is an educated mind. I love your family. Have a great weekend. I'm off to Birmingham to see my family. Woo-hoo. Shout out Jackson Robinson family. I'm on my way home to Birmingham. Love you guys. Have a great week.